Hi, you are welcome to this quick guide on Courseware adaptation for e-learning courses. This video is a summary of one-day workshop that has been done earlier on courseware adaptation and instructional design models. And in this video, I will quickly be summarizing the basic recommendations and requirements that are needed when instructional designers are creating courseware content, especially those that are used in blended learning. My name is Akindele Tosin. Let's get started. In the last workshop, we mentioned that features of an e-learning course should contain these: introduction, learning outcomes, assessments, multimedias, animations, avatars, flash, tables and boxes, case studies and examples, summaries, glossary of terms, and references. All of these features are supposed to be in every course materials that is designed for e-learning purposes. And an instructional designer that is going to design a course for e-learning should be proficient in the use of Microsoft Word and some of the other Office's packages. He or she should also be able to compose correct and simple meaningful sentences, and additionally, you should be able to do amateur to an extent graphics design. But blended learning is not the only model of e-learning. Several people, most times we've come across self-paced online courses, MOOC, which means massively open online courses, and many others. In some of these courses, the requirement might be slightly different. You might need to be proficient in e-learning authoring tools such as Articulate Storyline, Articulate Rise, Elucidate, and so on and so forth. However, for the sake of this purpose, most African universities use blended learning, which I will come to soon. Now, for blended learning, a blended learning is the type of online learning that is combining the same type of online, the same type of classroom lectures that many lecturers use in higher education institution, combining it together with online learning. And this is the model that most African universities use. That means there will be lecture notes that has been designed in online formats that is going to be prepared and delivered to the online learners. However, there are other models of online learning, such as those that are self-paced, so like massive open online courses that the learners can learn inside the um platform without the intervention of any lecturer. Now, when you as an instructional designer, you are preparing to design your course material for blended learning format, there are few things that you as a designer needs to be aware of. The first one is the need assessment and the target demography of your learner. You also need to be having by your side the curriculum that was provided by the NCHE. So once you have this curriculum, then you will start sourcing for materials. We call those kind of materials OER, open educational materials. But they are not the only kind of materials you can use. You can also use materials from Google search engines. You can use ebooks, articles, journals. Even you can use online courses that has been prepared by other universities. However, any of the source that you use, you should make sure that you document them instantly and put them in the list of references. So from the NCHE curriculum you already have, you break down these courses into the study unit, you look at them topic by topic, and from that, You deduce the appropriate and the suitable activities that you want it to be involved in. Now, the first thing in designing a course material is what we call introduction. Your introduction should be catchy. You should use information that they are familiar with, such as word occurrences, things they already know, circumstances that are around them, and so on and so forth. And it should not be more than 2 or 3 paragraphs. Simple sentences, concise, and straight to point. Then, in e-learning, we deal a lot with learning outcomes. Your learners need to be aware of the learning outcomes of what they are about to learn. These learning outcomes or learning objectives should be written in clear and concise language. And at the same time, we use mainly action verb. Why? Because action verb are measurable. You use words like you should be able to explain, you should be able to discuss, you should be able to enumerate. Don't use words that are not measurable by saying you should be able to understand, because you will not be able to measure whether the learners actually understand or not. Now, there are other recommendations for course designers when you are designing e-learning. The first recommendation is that your variables should be localized. What do you mean by your variables should be localized? When you are constructing sentences in your e-learning courses, for example, the material you were using were referring to the prices of commodities in market, that an orange cost $10, but this is Uganda. That means that you have to make sure that the variables inside your courses are in retrospect to the currency that is being spent in your locality. Also, when you are creating course content in Microsoft Word for your learners, use of headings, heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3 are recommended. If you cannot, it is not a must, but they are recommended. Then your sentences needs to be personalized. You refer to your learners directly. You should be able to learn this, you should be able to define this, you should be able to enumerate this. It will make your course materials to look as if it is speaking directly to the learners. You engage your learners mentally. You ask rhetorical questions that will make them to think. You use case studies of examples around them, and also you make sure that those courses is interactive and diversified. And before we go into the practical session, we also recommend you use a lot of graphics, use a lot of smart arts. For example, when you need to list, let's say you are listing types of accounting, you can use smart art to denote these types instead of just listing them. And finally, you create a study guide that will direct the students or your learners on what they should expect inside this course. The numbers of hours they are expected to spend, the kind of assessment they should expect in the middle of the courses, and so on and so forth. Kampala International University with has created a template for creating a print or text material for your learners to make sure that all course materials that is designed by every department of Kampala International University is unique and customized to the university. We will see more of how you can do all of these things in the practical session that will follow this video. Thank you very much. Meet you in the practical session.